Have you ever noticed how people talk about their financial failures? They hide them. They're ashamed of them. They pretend they never happened. That bankruptcy? Never mention it. That business that collapsed? Erase it from the resume. That investment that lost everything? Delete it from memory. We treat financial failure like a wound that should be covered up, hidden from view, never acknowledged. But here's what most people never understand. Your biggest financial failures aren't scars to hide. They're the exact places where you can become strongest. There's an ancient Japanese art form called Kintsugi. When a ceramic bowl breaks, instead of throwing it away or hiding the cracks, they repair it with gold. They don't disguise the damage. They highlight it. They make the broken places the most beautiful part. A Kintsugi bowl that's been shattered and repaired with gold is worth more than an identical bowl that was never broken. Why? Because the gold-filled cracks tell a story. They show resilience. They prove that breaking doesn't mean ending. And the same principle applies to your financial life. That bankruptcy that destroyed you? It can become your deepest wisdom. That failed business? It can become your greatest teacher. That investment disaster? It can become your most valuable education. But only if you know how to practice Kintsugi finance. Only if you learn to repair your financial breaks with gold instead of shame. Today, you'll discover why your financial failures might be the most valuable assets you never knew you had. You'll learn the exact 5-step Kintsugi process for transforming catastrophic financial loss into unshakable financial strength. And by the end, you'll understand that the people with the strongest financial foundations aren't those who never failed. They're those who learn to repair their failures with gold. Before we begin, I invite you to subscribe to Monetisum, like this video, and comment below. What financial failure are you still hiding that could become your greatest strength? Now let's talk about turning broken into beautiful. Chapter 1. The Man Who Shattered. Let me tell you about Michael. Michael was 38 years old when his world completely shattered. He'd spent 15 years building a construction company. Started with nothing but a truck and a hammer. Grew it to 40 employees, annual revenue of $3 million. His family was proud. His employees depended on him. His identity was wrapped around being the successful business owner. Then the 2008 financial crisis hit. Construction projects evaporated overnight. Developers canceled contracts. Clients stopped paying. Within 6 months, Michael's company was bleeding money. He drained his personal savings trying to save it. He maxed out credit cards. He took out loans against his house. Nothing worked. 18 months after the crisis began, Michael filed for bankruptcy. The business closed. 40 employees lost their jobs. His house went into foreclosure. His wife's savings gone. His retirement accounts emptied. His credit score destroyed. Michael was 40 years old with negative net worth and no idea how to rebuild. But the financial devastation wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the shame. He couldn't tell people what happened. When old friends asked, "How's business?" he lied. "Fine, just fine." When his kids' friends' parents asked what he did, he mumbled vague answers. He stopped going to networking events because he couldn't bear the question. So, what do you do? His identity had been successful businessman. Now he was the guy who failed, and he had no idea who to be. He spent 2 years like this, working random contractor jobs, making just enough to survive, drowning in shame, hiding his failure like a wound that wouldn't heal. Until one day, his daughter came home from school, excited about an art project. She was learning about Kintsugi, the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with gold. She showed him a video of a master craftsman taking a shattered bowl and carefully filling each crack with lacquer mixed with gold powder. The repaired bowl was stunning. The gold seams created a pattern more beautiful than the original bowl had ever been. And the narrator said something that made Michael stop breathing. Kintsugi teaches that breaking is not the end of an object's life. The break is simply another event in its history. And when repaired with care, the broken places become the most valuable parts. Michael watched that video 7 times that night. And for the first time in 2 years, he asked himself a different question. Not, how do I hide this failure? But what if I could repair this failure with gold? Chapter 2. The 5 Cracks. Michael started studying Kintsugi obsessively. He learned that the repair process has 5 distinct stages. And each stage had a perfect parallel to financial recovery. Stage 1. Collect the pieces. Acceptance. In Kintsugi, the first step is gathering every single broken piece. You can't repair what you won't acknowledge. You can't fix what you're hiding. Michael realized he'd been doing the opposite. He'd been pretending the pieces didn't exist, refusing to look at the full damage, hiding from the truth. So he did something terrifying. He gathered all the pieces of his financial failure. He made a complete list of every debt, every missed opportunity, every mistake. He wrote down the full story of his business collapse, not to torture himself, but to see the whole picture clearly. When he finished, he had 17 pages of financial devastation. And something unexpected happened. Looking at the complete truth was less painful than hiding from pieces of it. Shame thrives in darkness. When you pull it into the light, it loses power. This is the first principle of Kintsugi finance. You can't repair what you won't acknowledge. Stage 2. Study the break pattern, learning. In Kintsugi, master craftsmen study how the pottery broke. Was it dropped? Struck? Stressed over time? Understanding the break pattern determines the repair strategy. Michael started analyzing not just what happened, but why. Why did his business collapse when other construction companies survived? He thought it was just the economy, but when he studied honestly, patterns emerged. He'd grown too fast without cash reserves. He'd taken on too much debt. He'd depended on too few clients. He'd ignored warning signs. He'd let ego drive decisions instead of data. The economy triggered the collapse, but his decisions created the vulnerability. This truth was painful, but it was also gold, because now he knew exactly what not to do if he ever rebuilt. This is the second principle of Kintsugi finance. Your failure pattern is your wisdom. Stage 3. Clean the breaks, responsibility. In Kintsugi, before repair begins, every crack must be meticulously cleaned. Any dirt, any residue, any contamination will weaken the bond. Financially, this meant Michael had to clean out the toxic stories he'd been telling himself. I failed because the economy crashed, victim story. I failed because my clients betrayed me, blame story. I failed because I'm not smart enough, shame story. All these stories, even if partially true, were contaminating the break. They prevented real repair. So Michael cleaned them out. He accepted complete responsibility. I failed because I made decisions that created vulnerability. The economy was the trigger. My choices were the cause. I own this completely. The moment he did this, something shifted. Shame evaporated. Because shame requires believing you're defective. Responsibility just means you made specific mistakes you can learn from. This is the third principle of Kintsugi finance. Clean the break with responsibility, not shame. Stage 4. Apply the gold, extraction. This is where Kintsugi becomes art. The craftsman doesn't hide the cracks. He highlights them with gold lacquer. The broken places become the most beautiful parts. For Michael, this meant extracting maximum value from his failure. He started documenting every lesson. Every mistake became a principle. Every loss became wisdom. Every painful consequence became knowledge he could use. From his bankruptcy, he learned. Always maintain 6 months of operating expenses and cash reserves. Never grow faster than cash flow allows. Diversify client base to prevent single-point failure. From his debt disaster, he learned. Debt amplifies both success and failure. Use it only when downside is protected. Personal and business finances must remain separate. From losing his house, he learned, never stake your family's security on business outcomes. Build multiple layers of financial protection. He wasn't just learning these lessons. He was extracting gold from the cracks. This is the fourth principle of Kintsugi finance. Your failure contains wisdom worth more than your success ever did. Stage 5. Display the repair integration. In Kintsugi, repaired objects are displayed proudly. The gold seams aren't hidden. They're the focal point. They show that this object survived something that should have destroyed it. Michael had to decide, would he hide his failure forever? Or would he integrate it into his identity as a source of strength? He made a radical choice. He started being honest. When people asked what he did, he said, I'm rebuilding after a business failure. I'm learning more now than I ever did when I was successful. When networking, he shared his bankruptcy story, not with shame, but with wisdom. Here's what I learned about business resilience from losing everything. The response shocked him. People didn't judge him. They respected him. They saw the gold in his cracks. And something even more unexpected happened. Opportunities appeared. Entrepreneurs who were struggling started asking his advice. You survived what I'm afraid of. How did you do it? Business partners who wanted someone with hard-won wisdom sought him out. We want someone who's been tested, not someone untested. His failure, once repaired with gold, became his greatest asset. This is the fifth principle of Kintsugi finance. Your repaired failures are more valuable than unblemished success. Chapter 3. The Gold Standard. 3 years after his bankruptcy, Michael started a new business. But this version was completely different from the first one. This time, he had wisdom previous success never taught him. This time, he had been broken and repaired with gold. He maintained massive cash reserves, not because some business book said to, but because he'd felt the terror of running out. He diversified his client base obsessively, not because it was efficient, but because he'd experienced single-point failure. He protected his family's finances separately, not because advisors recommended it, but because he'd lost a house. Every crack from his first business had been filled with gold, and that gold made his second business unbreakable. Within 2 years, his new company was more successful than his first had ever been. But more importantly, it was resilient. When the next economic downturn hit, while competitors panicked, Michael's company barely felt it. Why? Because it had been built by someone who'd already broken once, someone who knew where all the weak points were, someone whose cracks had been filled with gold. But here's what really matters. Michael's story isn't unique. Let me tell you about the science behind Kintsugi finance. Researchers at the University of California studied entrepreneurs who'd experienced catastrophic business failures. They compared two groups. Group A, those who hid their failure, changed industries, and never spoke of it. Group B, those who analyzed their failure deeply, extracted lessons, and integrated the experience into their identity. The findings were remarkable. Group A's second ventures had a 40% success rate, slightly better than first-time entrepreneurs. Group B's second ventures had an 82% success rate, double the general entrepreneurial success rate. Why? Because Group B had done Kintsugi finance. They'd collected the pieces, studied the pattern, cleaned the breaks, applied the gold, displayed the repair. Their failures had become their greatest teachers. Their cracks had been filled with gold. A Harvard Business School professor who studies entrepreneurial resilience explained it this way. Failure is only valuable if you extract value from it. Most people experience failure as pure loss, but a small percentage experiences failure as education. These people don't just recover. They become significantly stronger than they were before the failure. This is the paradox of Kintsugi finance. Sometimes breaking is the only way to become unbreakable. Chapter 4. Your cracks are your gold. So here's the truth you need to hear. You have financial failures you're hiding. Everyone does. Maybe it's debt you're ashamed of. Maybe it's a business that collapsed. Maybe it's an investment disaster. Maybe it's bankruptcy. Maybe it's a career failure. Maybe it's a financial choice you regret every day. And you're treating that failure like a crack to hide. You're trying to make it invisible. You're hoping no one ever finds out. You're pretending it never happened. But what if that crack is where your gold is? What if that failure, the one you're most ashamed of, contains the wisdom that could make you wealthy? What if your biggest financial disaster is actually your most valuable asset, waiting to be repaired with gold? Let me show you how to do Kintsugi finance on your own failures. Step 1. Collect your pieces. That is acknowledgement. Write down your complete financial failure. Not the sanitized version. The real version. What happened? How much did you lose? Who was affected? What were the consequences? Don't edit. Don't minimize. Don't excuse. Just truth. When you see the whole picture, shame loses power. You're not hiding anymore. Step 2. Study your pattern. Analysis. Now analyze the break pattern. Not to blame yourself. To learn. What decisions created vulnerability? What warning signs did you ignore? What knowledge gaps existed? What was in your control? Write down every lesson. Every crack contains wisdom. Step 3. Clean your break. Responsibility. Identify every toxic story you're telling yourself about this failure. I'm just unlucky. Victim story. They screwed me over. Blame story. I'm stupid with money. Shame story. Cross them all out. Replace them with, I made specific decisions that led to specific outcomes. I own this. I learned from this. This doesn't define me. Step 4. Apply your gold. Extraction. Now extract the gold. For every part of your failure, ask, what did this teach me that success never could? What knowledge do I now have that most people will never learn? How can this wisdom make me stronger? Write down every lesson. This is your gold. Step 5. Display your repair. Integration. Finally decide, will you hide this failure forever? Or will you integrate it as a source of strength? You don't have to broadcast it to the world, but you need to stop treating it like a shameful secret. When appropriate, share the wisdom. I learned this lesson the hard way, and here's what I discovered. Watch what happens. People respect gold-filled cracks far more than unblemished surfaces. Chapter 5. The Transformation. 5 years after his bankruptcy, Michael was giving a keynote speech at a business conference. The organizer introduced him. Our next speaker built a multi-million-dollar company, lost everything in bankruptcy, and then built an even stronger company. He's here to share what breaking taught him. Michael walked to the podium and said, I used to hide my bankruptcy. I was ashamed of it. I thought it defined me as a failure. But then I learned about Kintsugi, the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with gold, and I realized something profound. My bankruptcy wasn't the end of my financial story. It was the most valuable chapter, because that's where all my wisdom came from. The business I built before bankruptcy was successful, but vulnerable. I didn't know what I didn't know. The business I built after bankruptcy is successful and resilient, because every crack in the first one became gold in the second one. I know how to protect against cash flow crisis because I experienced one. I know how to diversify risk because I experienced concentration. I know how to separate business and personal finances because I lost both. My success before bankruptcy made me confident. My failure during bankruptcy made me wise. My recovery after bankruptcy made me unbreakable. The gold in my cracks is worth more than the unblemished surface ever was. The audience gave him a standing ovation. Afterward, dozens of entrepreneurs approached him, all sharing their own failures, all asking the same question: how do I repair my cracks with gold? And Michael shared the 5-step Kintsugi finance process. because he understood something most people never learn. Your failures aren't your weakness. Your failures repaired with gold are your greatest strength. Here's what you need to understand about financial failure. Everyone experiences it. Everyone breaks. Everyone has cracks. The difference between those who stay broken and those who become unbreakable is this. Are you trying to hide the cracks? Or are you filling them with gold? Most people spend their whole lives hiding financial failures. They're ashamed of bankruptcy. They're embarrassed by failed businesses. They're humiliated by investment disasters. They treat their cracks like wounds to cover up. But Kintsugi teaches us something different. The broken places, when repaired with wisdom, become the most beautiful parts, the most valuable parts, the strongest parts. That bankruptcy? It taught you financial resilience nothing else could teach. That failed business? It gave you wisdom successful businesses never learn. That investment disaster? It created knowledge that will protect you forever. Your cracks, filled with the gold of hard-won wisdom, are worth more than unblemished success. So stop hiding your financial failures. Start practicing Kintsugi finance. Collect the pieces, study the pattern, clean the breaks, apply the gold, display the repair. Your financial life will break. That's not a possibility. It's a certainty. The question is, when it breaks, will you throw it away? Will you try to hide the cracks? Or will you repair it with gold and make the broken places the most beautiful part? If this video changed how you see your financial failures, subscribe to Monetisum and activate the bell. Tell me in the comments, what financial failure are you ready to repair with gold? And remember, the gold is in the cracks. Ancient principles, modern prosperity. This is Monetisum. See you in the next video.